Welcome to our video guide on how to use collaboration. Hopefully I'm going to show you how to log on for the first time, install a few extensions, and to show you around the basics of using the collaboration app. When logging into collaboration for the first time, you're presented with this screen. You will be given a URL from your IT manager or ourselves in a welcome email. You would need to enter your username and password within that email. So I'm just going to enter it quickly now. And you can click Remember Me. Do not need to worry about call control, only if we tell you to. You will now be presented with a screen. At this point, we need to make sure we install a few things. So we need to allow the install of the extension browser. So if I click install, and then add to Chrome, add extension, you will now see you can remove from Chrome, but we want to leave it in here. So we can close down this tab that is now installed. If we go into the settings, and now we were presented with the browser extensions. So if I just do a quick refresh, you will see the browser extension has now been installed. You will be required to allow other permissions. Please allow these when they pop up. You need to allow at least the microphone and notifications. These can be changed at any point by going to the padlock next to the web URL, clicking on that and changing it on the sliders. Now we have web phone. This is where you set what devices are being used for your microphone, speakers, etc. when I'm using the web. So at the moment you can see I'm using default speaker, which is a mono LED headset. I'm having it ringing at the headset and I'm using the microphone. I haven't got a video camera attached to this PC, so it's not in there, but by default you can turn it on or off from there. But what I'm going to do, I can set the ringing to be my audio of the PC, so that would go through my speakers if I haven't got the headset on, so it would still be ringing. At any point, if you're happy with them, just press save. But what we have now is an echo test button, so you want to make sure they're working before you've actually got a live call. So what you can do echo test, and it will pop up. Then you will actively be able to hear yourself talk back through the earphones, and once you're happy with it, again press save.
The sound test will now start. You should hear back everything you say.
So testing, 1, 2, 3. Hang up. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to hit save. The extensions tab is where we make sure everything installed on initial install. If you're using a web browser, you need to make sure the browser extension is installed within Chrome. If you want to use any other services, you need to make sure integration is installed. And Tappy Driver is where you would do your F11 to click to dial. So if you can highlight it in a document, you can F11 and dial. Please note, integration services need to be installed prior to the Tappy Driver. So again, just make sure they're all installed, or every now and then make sure there's no updates in there. Once you've logged in and downloaded all the extensions, you will be presented with this screen. I'm just going to explain a few of the features on here and how to make some changes on there. So along the top here, the first thing you need to make sure is here is select the device that you're going to be using for making the calls. So we're going to be using the PC here, so we're going to select web. Then we're going to be using the devices that are connected to the web. Next tab along, you've got an ad. So if you've got SMS installed on the system, you'll be able to send SMSs, send faxes, post-its, and create a group chat. The next tab along there is video conference. So this is license dependent. You'll be able to make video conference calls, send out meetings, etc. The next tab along is your colleagues tab. Here they're automatically added to the system. However, if you find that you are missing some, what you can do, you can go into the arrow for other, and you can edit your colleagues. So you can add and remove them. So I'm adding a test user account 2, and you'll see that's now added on there. So you can do that, and what you can also do, you can hide offline users. So they're people not logged in via the PC. However, be aware they still may have a phone attached. Once done that, the next one is your chat. So if you've got any chat history, at the moment we've got no chat history. So I'm about to create a chat. So I'll go into my colleagues, and I'll go to the chat icon on the colleagues, and I will type a message, and now I have chat history in there, and if anyone types back we will see it pop up in here. So now we have a notification on the chat of one chat, and we've got a hi back. So now when we go into off of there, go into your chat history is anyone that's in here. The next tab is your phone book. So within here you can go in, you can have a look at your phone books with your colleagues, or I've created a phone book here called Site-Wide. In there we've got one entry. You'll see here we're able to edit it because we have a pencil. So this is depending on the rules that are allowed on the system, whether you're allowed to edit. But what I can do, I can add a new one with a plus sign. I can give it a name, so call this test, and we'll add a number, any number here, and that's the minimum we need to edit it into the phone book. However, make sure you add which phone book you're adding it into if you have multiple phone books. And we hit the tick sign, and now we have a new one in there. If you've got permissions, you can remove them with the minus key and confirm it with the OK. Next tab, we have the history. So here's any inbound, outbound histories for your device itself. So you can see that we've had a call out to 3001, which is named test account 2, and there's the time and the duration. Next tab is if you have any voicemails, you will have some voicemails in here. I'll show you how to use them in a minute. And then you have your settings. So within your settings you have your personal. You can change your default password. You can change your email address, your mobile number. Please be aware to add your mobile number in the +44 format. You can change things like dark theme. You can ring only active device. So this is your active device up here. So it would audibly only ring the active device, but visually show ringing on any device that you've logged in. Handy one here is F11 for hot dialing. So this means if you can highlight the number in an email or a Word document, whatever, you can press F11 and it will make the call for you via your active device. Next handy tab is your features. So here you can say what you want to happen to the call. So on an internal call, the class is active. If I'm busy or no answer, my calls are going to go to my voicemail. I've got missed call notification email on there, and there's the ringtone that's going to be played. So you can select other ringtones in there. Once you make a change, hit save. You have your external in there. Please note that this isn't active by default unless we've been asked otherwise, so it will fall back to your internal list. However, if you activate the class, you can then separate what happens for your internal and external calls. By way of external, I mean calls directly to your phone, i.e. direct dial numbers, not if you're in a ring group. I'm going to turn that off and just press save. There. FN keys. So these are function keys programmable by yourself. So what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to create a colleague by hitting the plus sign, and I am going to select 3001 and select that. Don't have to put a name in there, it will pick it up from the system. If you do want to override the name, obviously please put it into the label. The I means that you will monitor it. So in the top right hand corner of the collaboration, if an incoming call comes in, you have a black box that pops in with the history, and then you have a pickup option. So by default I recommend turning that off. If you have your speaker, so it will be audibly notified, or the arrow is a direct transfer. So when you drag and drop a call onto that person, it would directly transfer the call across, and you will not have an option to announce the call. So I've turned all that off, and now I hit save, and now you'll see I have a FN keys tab along the top. We're in there, we have the same thing. So it's the same as your colleagues really, but you're creating it yourself. So now I'm going to quickly add a speed dial. So add speed dial, I'll label this one as BT, and I'll put a test number in there, and I select that number and save. So now I will have a BT test number which I could call. I want to remove it, simple as go in, cross out of them both, and save. And then you will see where you have nothing in there, the 2 line keys they're in there by default, but where you have nothing in there you've lost your FN keys. So I'll create a colleague, a speed dial quickly again, and now I have my FN keys again up there. Now let's have a look at the history tab. So select the history tab. In here you will be able to see if they're inbound or outbound calls by the arrow to the left of the number, whether it's inbound or outbound. If you hover over it, it will show you. So let's find an inbound, incoming call. If they're red, it's a missed call. From here you can call them by right clicking call, or you can add a contact if you've got administration rights for the phone book, or you can archive it. So if you select archive, it disappears from the list. However, if you now look in the all and drop down, you've got archived. So you go in there and see that I've archived 2 calls in there. One was a missed call, and we can right click from there and we can recover. So that would take it back to your original all. You've got the date and the time and the duration. You can search via incoming, outgoing, missed calls, etc. Or you can search by date, clicking in there. So if you know you had a call yesterday, you can select that date and there. If you can also search for it by the name, so you can go in there and start typing. It takes the first 3 characters. So let's do echo, and it should bring up everything for echo test. And again, you can right click and call. Now I'm going to show you the voicemail tab. So you will notice that it's been notified of 1 call in there by the red 1. If I click on that tab, now it takes me to another page where it will display the number if there is an inbound number in the +44 format. We have a download tab. Please note this doesn't download it to your PC, it just opens it to play within your media player, and it gives you the duration and the date and time. We can select the little box to the left and we can view it, so mark it as read, or we can delete it from there if we didn't want to listen to it. I'm going to show you downloading it and saving it to the PC. So I'm going to play it, and I can hit download, and now that's downloaded it into your downloads on your PC, so you can forward it on as an email if required. Next we have Fax Server. This may or may not be enabled on your system. However, this is where you can make the changes to your header, etc. The next tab is your chat and presence. Within here you can turn on whether you want to be notified of any unread messages via email. You can turn on the pop-ups when you're in Do Not Disturb. You've got Away. So if I tick that, we've now enabled any PC inactivity for the last 10 minutes, and we will automatically set for away if that occurs. And we can set some custom states. So this is handy for if you have like a set lunch break, so you can automatically set yourself away, and when that time is reached, it will automatically revert back to available. So here I'm going to set Do Not Disturb, I'm going to set lunch. I'm going to set the duration of an hour, so that's now in there. I need to save that, so that's now saved. So I can change my status up here, click on that, and now I have a lunch for an hour. Once that hour has expired, we'll automatically go back into available, so we will go green. I'm just going to change that to available, and that is your statuses. Next we have the contact center tab. So within here we can change what groups we can log in and out of. So this is handy if someone's off sick, rather than having to go sit at their desk or call forward their phone, you can log into that ring group. You will see here you have ring all inbound. That we can't change, that is set in the background of the system, so if you can set into a group you can't take yourself out of it, just be aware of that. However, I can bring myself into all of these groups and I will sign on there and save. So now if any of those groups ring, I will ring as a member and I can take myself out when I want. Just hit save down the bottom. I want to sign out of them all, so I can leave that on there. Sign out of them all, I just sign out, bang, and I'm actually signed out of the groups. But I'm going to turn them off. You can turn on and off if you're unavailable, away, or on do not disturb in there. This may not be available to you. This is dependent on the rules within the system, whether we've been asked to block it. Thank you. Now let's look how we can transfer a call. There's a couple of ways to do this. The most simplest way is for you to create some FN keys for your colleagues, so people you regularly dial and you need to transfer to. This way we can drag and drop onto them. So I'm just going to refresh you on how to create an FN key. So you go to the settings cog, go to your FN keys on the left hand side and make sure colleagues selected at the top and hit the plus sign. If it's not, just select it from drop down and hit the plus. Here you can remove the view, that's where it monitors it. You can put a label in there if you want. If you don't put a label, it will take the labeling from the system programming. So I am going to do use test account in there, hit save. Now we will see I have a colleague in there and they're available. Now we'll make a call in. What we can do is grab the number, click and drag onto the test account or your colleague. As soon as you let go, it will count down timer on the right hand side. After 3 seconds, it will put the first call on hold and call the second person you've called. You are now speaking to the person you're going to transfer the call to. They want to take the call. You need to do is press the arrow to the right to transfer, and it can be on either of the two. So I'll do it on the top one, for example. Now let's put the call together, and you will see over on your colleagues tab that they are now talking on the phone because you've got the red handset symbol. Another way you can transfer a call is by dialing the name or the number of the person you want to transfer the call to. So let's send a call in. Now we're going to press the arrow to the right for transfer, and we're going to type in the name of the person we're looking for. So I'll type in test. You will now see you're presented with different options for names that start with test or have test in them, and you will see they have multiple numbers in there, so we can transfer the call across to them. Also, you probably noticed that you have an envelope for voicemail, so you can transfer the call directly to their voicemail by pressing that symbol. The handset symbol means that you will announce the call, so you tell the caller who's on the phone, and you have the option to transfer in it at that point. The arrow to the right is direct transfer, so it's a blind transfer. You will not have the option to announce the call. I am going to announce the call with the handset symbol. Now it's ringing the other person. They've answered the call, so at this point you say I have Joe Bloggs. If you need to go back to the other caller, you can unpause it by pressing the resume button, which is flashing, and it will put the second or the call you've made, it's currently active, caller 2, on hold. So it's put the call on hold, so you can go back and say I'm just going to transfer you now. And now what you can do is press the arrow to the right for transfer on either of the two, and it would transfer the call across to the caller. You can change your statuses if you need to go into a meeting or away from your desk at any point in time. You can do this by selecting the green dot by your initials or your picture if selected. In here I have away, do not disturb, and the 1 hour I set within my tab earlier on. So I'm going to set to do not disturb. Now that is set until I come back and turn that off. Again, go into turn it on, go into available, and that's set. However, what you can do, you can go to the drop down arrow to the right of it, and you can change your status in there. So if you was going on holiday for a week, you could go to do not disturb, select there, select the date. So I'm back on the 10th at 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning, and I hit done. And then I can put a comment in there, so I'm going on holiday. And I can hit OK. So now I'm on holiday until next Monday, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I come back, it will automatically go off at 1 minute past 8. However, I come back, arrive early, I can take it off available state if required. Within here as well, you can edit your picture. So in here, you can edit a picture to get if you require.
Thank you for watching our guide on how to use collaboration. We hope you found it useful. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to email us at support@netscoms.co.uk or give us a call on 02380 770 948.